North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein is here. Good to see you, sir. I don't understand this. This was an easy pass in the legislature. I think it was like 48-2. And it reversed the transparency requirement from suggesting that things are seen as being presumptively of the public interest and making the public have to fight for transparency. That's what the law does. Why was it such an easy pass?
Thank you, Chris. Yes, today, Andrew Brown Jr. was laid to rest, and he was a father and a nephew, friend and neighbor to many's. And at the service, Reverend Barber spoke. Family members from Eric Garner, Dante Wright, George Floyd, they all spoke as members of a club nobody would ever want to be a part of. And they gave intimate words of support to Mr. Brown's family, and they gave the public a charge to do better, and we must do better. And one way we can do better is having better transparency and more accountability. North Carolina law was changed in 2016, and it declared that body cam footage is not a public record, and that's backwards. The whole reason we have body and dash cams footage is so that we can know what happened. The public will have more trust and faith in what law enforcement does when we can see what happened. So we need to change North Carolina law, switch it so that it is a public record. And if there's some valid investigative reason why the footage should be temporarily delayed, put the onus on law enforcement to get that hold, not put it on the people.
And they're leaking what they want people to know by suggestion about Andrew Brown Jr. They did it in the beginning when the sheriff came out and said this guy's got a history of resisting arrest. Then you had a member of the prosecutor team come out and say, you know, the car hit them. I don't understand. Anything they thought about prejudicing the case, they've already filled that vacuum with their own words. Now, the governor had said he wanted the body cam video to come out. Then the case was removed from the locals to the state. And yet there has been no action on transparency. Can you sue, Mr. Attorney General? Can you sue and say this law is unconstitutional and it has to change now? Can you sue?
The case was not taken away from the locals. The local sheriff invited in the State Bureau of Investigation to perform the investigation, which is a good thing because we want to have independent investigations. We don't want the sheriff's office investigating itself. He also invited in an outside sheriff's office to ensure that their local policies were complied with, an internal affairs investigation. I don't have the authority to sue on this matter. In North Carolina, the authority to prosecute these cases are left with the local district attorney, not the state. So the case has not been referred to my office. The law, as it's written by the General Assembly, can be revisited by them, and there are bills in the legislature that have been filed to do just that.
Mr. AG, I appreciate you clarifying where the case is and saying what I hope should be obvious to everybody, including your governor. He said he wanted it out. Why doesn't he demand it's out? Why doesn't he say it every day? That's not a question for you. It's a question for him. Mr. AG, thank you for being with us.